Yes guys, today I'm going to show you the best updated controller settings and camera settings in FIFA 21. These are very different from last time. Obviously there's been a few patches since then. It was about a couple of weeks ago since I last did this. I just want to show you updated pro versions. Last time was sort of my personal settings and stuff like that. Today I'm going to show you what ones are better for maybe you watching this. So obviously everyone plays different, so I'm going to tell you different options and what you could use instead, so it's probably more suited to whatever playstyle you have, which I'm going to show you in this video, depending on which playstyle you use really. So I'm going to start off with the game settings and then I'm going to go into the camera settings afterwards. So for the customized controls for these settings here, controller settings, trainer you want on hide. Now a lot of people do actually use show for trainer, but then only use it for the sort of arrow when you're moving. Only a few pros do that, but I don't see many people do that. So personally, I like to keep the FIFA trainer on hide. Time finishing you want off. That sort of stops it. So when you're spamming the ball, maybe spamming like B or spamming circle to shoot, that doesn't accidentally happen. You accidentally red time it and mess up your shot. So you do want to have that off. Next player switch indicator, you definitely want that on, just so you can see who you are switching to next when you're about to switch when you're defending. Pass block assistance you want on as well. Auto switching, you definitely want that on air balls and loose balls. You do not want auto switch on auto. That will mean it switches players for you when you're defending, which can make it very, very bad to defend with. You really don't want to use that at all. Maybe if you're very new to the game, use that for a little bit, but try not to get used to it. You don't want manual though, because that means when there is an air ball or a loose ball, it won't switch to the right player and it can mess you up as well. So you just want it on air balls and loose balls. Also switching move assistance you want on none. Jockey you definitely want on assisted. All it does is make it easier to jockey, making it easier to defend. It's as simple as that. Also flare pass you definitely want it off. That just means auto flare pass, otherwise it'll perform sort of like a skill move pass, and you don't want that on because it can mess your pass up sometimes. You just want that off. Auto clearances you definitely want that on. Auto shots you want on. It doesn't mean it's going to shoot for you, it can be quite useful when you are attacking and trying to shoot. Player lock you want on as well. Contextual agile dribbling you want that on as well. Assisted headers you definitely want that on, just making it much more accurate to pass and to shoot with headers, because passing and shooting with headers is very inaccurate. So having this on just means you're going to score a lot more headers and corners. So a lot more headers from corners and from crosses. It's very useful to have this on. Right stick switching you want player relative. This just means that when you are switching with your right stick switching player, it will be relative to the player you're currently using rather than relative to the ball. Ground pass assistance you want assisted. You pretty much want as much help as you can really. Just obviously the more help you get, the easier the game's going to be for you. So for ground pass assistance, through ball assistance, shot assistance, you all need an assisted. Cross assistance you do want on semi. The reason for this is because when you are crossing in, if it's unassisted, it will sort of put a bit too much power sometimes and not go to the right players. So it can be a bit sort of confusing to use assisted sometimes. So you do want semi, which means it sort of is it is going to the right player, but you can control the power a bit better yourself. But obviously you don't want manual, so you want that to be on semi or assisted, preferably semi. Lob pass assistance, you want that assisted. Save assistance, you obviously want assisted, definitely want that on. Analog sprint, you want off. Defending, you want to use tactical defending. And pass receiver lock to keep that on late. So that's everything for the controller settings. So now getting onto the camera settings, this stuff is mainly different from last time. Not too much was different there, but this is a bit different now. So I'm going to go across to camera settings here. Now for this, it's sort of up to your playstyle, which is why I'm making this video. So if you're like me and you prefer to sort of see the whole pitch, have an idea of what you're doing, you prefer passing it around, playing like tiki-taka play, passing it around, getting long balls, stuff like that, you definitely want to be using co-op. You can see a lot more of the pitch, a lot easier to make runs with your attackers, and you can pass it around much easier than before. You can also see where the opposition players are, you can sort of see the whole pitch on the screen. So for that, you definitely want to use co-op. But if you prefer to sort of dribble with the ball, get players, you prefer skill moves, dribbling, stuff like that, then I recommend you using tele-broadcast. So tele-broadcast or co-op really, that is sort of the main choices you have. I wouldn't really use anything else apart from tele-broadcast and co-op. That's the only thing pros ever use. No, don't use anything else, don't use default, don't really use broadcast, obviously don't use pro, only co-op and tele-broadcast, depending on your play style. So for the custom versions, you don't really want to use the default ones. For co-op, for the custom, you do want to have, so you need to go to camera settings, turn that to custom, and for camera height, I recommend using 17. This is what all pros seem to use, 17 height, just to really see a lot of the pitch. Camera zoom, you want 3 as well, so you can once again see more of the pitch, so get a really good angle with 17 and 3 for the co-op. And then for tele-broadcast, I don't really use this very much because I prefer using co-op, so I'm not too sure on the camera settings, but it's probably quite similar. But I do recommend watching the sort of, maybe looking up what you should use for this, because I'm not sort of confident with using tele-broadcast, I never really use it, so I don't want to say anything that's going to be completely wrong when you get into the game. But that is sort of why you should use tele-broadcast or co-op depending on your play style. So that is going to be everything for this video. If you have any questions or need help, let me know in the comments and I'll reply as quickly as possible. But thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Have a nice rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.